Gather your arms, my friends. Okay, I'll stop. Literally, the only thing I know about, King Arthur is Fate Stay Night and Reinhardt from Overwatch. So I know nothing about the England lore, but what I can tell you is you can pull that sword out of the stone because this deck is now competitive again. I'm TheCaliEffect, and if you guys want to see more videos like this, then go ahead and destroy that subscribe button. But more importantly, if you're a King Arthur fan and want to see competitive Noble Knights, then go ahead and destroy that notification bell because we bring you deck profiles like this almost every day for Deck Profile Madness. Without further ado, I present to you a Noble Knight deck profile for the 2018 January format. Alright guys, so starting off with the monsters, 3 copies of my man, Noble Knight Madrot. Essentially, all, or not all of your Noble Knights, some of your Noble Knight monsters, when they are on the field, they are treated as normal monsters and only gain their effects when they have an equip card equipped to him. Madrot is one of those. While he isn't equipped to an equip card, he becomes a level 5 dark monster. But even more importantly, you can special summon one Noble Knight monster from your deck to your side of the field if he is the only Noble Knight monster on your field, and then destroy said equip card. He is the most important Noble Knight monster singularly for this deck. It allows you to bring out all of your combos and access your most important combo, which will probably dominate your opponent. 3 copies of Merlin. Now I know he looks completely disgusting. I hate Platinum Rare, but that's the only rarity he came in. At the cost of tributing Merlin, you can special summon one Noble Knight monster from your deck. So essentially, you're allotted 6 copies of Madrot, and Merlin's kind of pivotal to bringing out Madrot because it's probably your most important Noble Knight. Not saying that he can't bring out other cards, but again, really important Noble Knight you got going on. Now this card is somewhat of a new addition to the Noble Knight competitive strategy. 3 copies of Noble Knight Gawain. Now I apologize ahead of time if I'm butchering his name, but essentially if you control if you control a normal light monster, you can special summon this card to your side of the field. Now you guys are probably thinking, TheCaliEffect, there's no normal monster so far. Chill out. Madrot is treated as a normal monster when there isn't any cards equipped to him. So Gawain is really good for bringing that essential piece you need to make your Noble Knight Link monster. Next is 2 copies of Noble Knight Brothers. Now, the more and more I actually sat down, looked, and play tested this card, the better it became. So when it's normal summon, you can special summon up to 2 additional Noble Knight monsters to your side of the field. You need exactly 3 Noble Knight monsters for the combo, so he's good that way. Also, he allows you to recycle Noble Knight or Noble Arms cards from your graveyard back into your deck. You can go through quite a few cards of your deck and you might need them back to your deck. So Noble Knight Brothers is an essential piece to the deck. Not only is he a Pot of Avarice, but he also is essential to the initial combo if you don't draw every card that you need. Next is 2 copies of Noble Knight Boars. Now this will probably make Noble Knight players screech and throw feces everywhere because Boars was a 3 of in the deck. But drawing Boars doesn't do anything for you. And granted, you can summon Boars off of Madrot and you want to activate it so you don't draw 2 copies of Boars. The odds of you drawing 2 copies of Boars are like pretty low. And more importantly, you can always send it back to the deck for the effect of Noble Knight Brothers. So there goes that. Boars is a really good key piece. He's a normal monster until he's equipped with an equip spell. When he does, he becomes dark in level 5. But more importantly, you can select 3 Noble Arms cards from your deck and your opponent randomly adds 1 to your hand. So free equip spells or equipped monster, such as Gwynfor, Queen of the Noble Arms. Now, she is a card that was often played as 3, so go ahead. Noble Knight fans, throw feces. Decks don't evolve and start changing new concepts. I mean, no, go ahead and do that. What she does is she can equip herself to a monster, and depending on what the monster is, she gains a certain ability. Now, if it's a light monster, that monster can't be destroyed by a card effect, or you destroy this card as set. If it's a dark monster and it battles another opponent's monster, I think it destroys that monster. I'm not 100% sure, because I don't always get the dark effect. If this card battles an opponent's monster, you can destroy that monster. Okay, yeah, so I said it right. She is an essential piece because she can be searched through Boars. She's the only Noble Arms monster, and more importantly, she can keep re-equipping herself to monsters. Next is another card that wasn't played in the Noble Knight strategy, but the longer you look at him, the better he is. And I don't mean that in that sense. Get your minds out of the gutter, man. You guys are weird. One copy of Noble Knight Predator. Okay, Noble Knight Predator. He is also an essential monster because he is a level 4 monster that is a normal monster until he's equipped with a equip card. So it can trigger Gwen being special summoned. But more importantly, when you get deep into the combo, you don't want to special summon another Boars to your side of the field. You want to be able to special summon a monster that isn't Boars but still is a normal monster on your side of the field, and Predator fits that perfect criteria. And his ability to add noble arms cards from your graveyard to your hand is just an added bonus. One copy of Noble Knight Dristan. This is probably the most versatile, useless, most hated, but good Noble Knight monster. The reason why I have so many bad words for him is because he's not a normal monster. So it really does throw off a lot of things. But when he's equipped with an equipped spell card, you can destroy a card on the field. So he's pretty good spot removal. Another Noble Knight monster that wasn't necessarily played is Noble Knight Gualvachad, however you say this guy's name. He is also another Noble Knight monster when it's normal on the side of the field, so he works perfect for Gawain. When he's equipped, you can add a Noble Knight monster from your graveyard to your hand. All of this recursion that the deck has really is important because you commit so many monsters to your board, you want to have something as a backup plan to restart over if your opponent does wipe your board. It's pretty hard to do, but it's very possible. That is it for the monsters at 18. Those are all the Noble Knight monsters we do play. I actually thought about playing Ictor. Ictor just isn't good. It's not needed. It's a decent card because it banishes your Noble Knight monsters to summon itself. I wish it banished Noble Arms cards too, but you just don't need it. I got all the playtesting I did, and we actually played quite a few games with this deck. We just didn't need it at all. And then the other level 5, I think his name is Lanslin. He's just not needed either. We do run hand traps, and there are budget options, of course. 3 copies of Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring and 1 copy of Maxi. Now go ahead and take out the Ash Blossom and Joyous Springs if you guys do play, or if you can't afford them and throw in Ghost Ogres, you'll be perfectly fine, or a little better than not running anything at all. The reason why hand traps are so good in this deck is because you use all of your back row to equip to your monsters. So you need something to defend yourself, and you can't use your back row to do it. In comes hand traps, and they're really good. Now, I didn't want to flood this deck with hand traps, mainly because A, you guys go, oh god, this deck is a hand trap deck, but B, also, it would kind of helped ruin the consistency. So we're going to stick to just the 3 Ash Blossoms and the Maxi. This deck is a big boy deck. It can take care of itself and make some pretty nasty boards without hand traps. Now, that's it for the monsters at 22. For the spells, it's 18. We run quite a few equipped spell cards. I'll actually be able to explain them a little later. 3 copies of Noble Arms Gallatin. This card gives you, gives one of your Noble Knight or Warrior. Okay, Warrior. It gives one of your Warrior monsters 1,000 attack, just making sure, because some of them say Noble Knight. Yeah, this one says Noble Knight that's coming up. It gives it 1,000 attack, but every standby phase, that monster loses 200 attack. Now, most Noble Arms cards, when they're destroyed, they can re-equip to a different monster, which fuels the combo. This is one of them. 3 copies of Noble Arms Excalibur. Now, this card does not re-equip itself, and also it can only be equipped to a Noble Knight monster. That monster can't be targeted, so pretty good card for making any of your Noble Knight monsters untargetable. This card equips itself to normal monsters, 3 copies of Noble Arms Destiny. Now, this card makes any of your monsters not be able to be destroyed by battle or card effects once. So between 1,000 attack, non-targeting, and non-destruction, you have a pretty strong monster that can't be targeted or destroyed by card effects. And keep in mind, when 2 of these monsters or 2 of these cards are destroyed, they allow themselves to re-equip to other cards. Now, 2 copies of Noble Arms Arfitrator. I don't know how to say this card's name. I just tried to say it, and I hope I said it right. Now, you can reduce the attack of one of your Noble Arms monsters to target a face-down card and destroy it. So it's pretty good face-down removal. And then 2 copies of Caliburn. It gives the monster 500 attack, and once returned, you can gain 500 life points. So really good for the recovery. I really do like most of the Noble Arms cards. Gallatin gives it 1,000 attack. Excalibur makes your monster untargetable. Destiny makes your monster indestructible. Caliburn is okay. 500 life points every turn does become a little bit problematic for the opponent. Arfitrator is a card that I hate. I don't like it. But there is a reason why you have to play so many Noble Arms cards. This deck is heavily reliant on these spells to equip to your monsters, and even more importantly, send from the deck to the graveyard with our new Noble Knight link. So you have to play enough to be able to resolve your monster's effects. And trust me, I tried playing less. You kind of have to play this. There was actually a couple of games where me and a friend, great friend, awesome person, Xander, were playing, and we tried to cut the Arthur Nurture or cut it down to 1, and there were so many times where he just screwed himself and couldn't play further because he needed that second or that extra name. So that's it for the equips. Next is 3 copies of the new card from the set. This card makes the deck really good. I'm going to tell you guys, we're playing Ritual Beasts versus Noble Knights. Unfortunately, the lighting was terrible, so I had to delete this video. He straight savaged me. I was forced into Torrential Tribute on 3 monsters, but I was like, he won't be able to play Yu-Gi-Oh! And I had a pretty decent hand. He chained this card to equip the Noble Arms Destiny from his deck to his monster. And basically, I Torrential Tributed myself. He wound up making the Extreme board and scraping me. This card is literally nuts. Because it's a quick play spell card, you can use it to equip your monster to gain 1,000 attack. You can use it to equip it to prevent it from being targeted. You can use it to equip it from being destroyed. And it searches all of your equipped spells to a certain monster, so it's really good. 1 copy of the last chapter of Noble Knights. This card isn't as good as it used to be, mainly because you don't plan on not having a board, but it's an awesome recovery card, giving you a monster that you need, and as well as equipping it with a card. And then lastly is 1 copy of Reinforcement of the Army. I wouldn't be a good player without playing Reinforcement of the Army inside of a deck that is 90% warriors. So that is it with the main board. No traps. There's no reason to play traps because you can't. You're going to be too busy equip 5ing your entire monsters. For the extra deck, now I do have a proxy. It would be 2 copies of this person. I don't know this card's name. I never bothered to look at the card's name, but I do know its effect. Upon its summon, you can add 1 warrior monster from your deck to your hand. Really good. Unfortunately, you can't normal summon or special summon that monster for the rest of the turn. Keep in mind, I did say the rest of that turn. So if you already used Medrot's effect, you can add a Medrot from your deck to your hand for the next turn in case your board gets blown up. The most important thing is, makes it unusable to almost every other deck, is that you can send equipped spell cards with different names from your deck to the graveyard to special summon a warrior monster from your deck to your side of the field with the corresponding, with the corresponding number of equipped spell cards you set. Really, really, really good. Like, godly good. Like, extraordinarily good. And this is the reason why we play so many equipped spell cards. Cards just nasty. Next is 2 copies of Articarus, King of Noble Knights. Back row destruction. You don't often play him because he's level 4, and the level 5 guy is just a little bit better. 2 copies of Sacred King Noble Knight Articarus. He's the monster destroyer. He's a lot easier to summon, even though you don't play any level 5s naturally. But he's a really good card, and he's spot removal. You can make him 3,700 attack right off the bat. And to be honest with you guys, I never used the rest of my extra deck. I didn't. So I played Ghost Reaper and Winter Cherries, and you can substitute this for whatever you want. It's not even a complete extra deck. I know the Utopia package. I do run it in here. You could also run that 1 monster that's 2 warrior monsters and it makes up 4,000 attack. Reason being is because it can be 4,000 attack attacking directly where lightning can't. Baguska. I'm pretty sure this is just a Cherries target. I've never made it. I don't think I'll ever make it. Actually, I can make it. I just won't. Tornado Dragon. Back row destruction. Spiral Double Helix. Cherries target. Decode Talker. Cherries target. Electrum would be in here. I don't have one currently at right now, but Cherries target. And basically, you run the rest as Cherries targets. So you guys can already expect what we're going to be running in that sideboard. No copies of Cherries, even though we run Cherries targets. No, I'm just playing. 3 copies of Ghost Reader Brainer Cherries. This deck does not need its extra deck. Even with the 6 cards that we do need, the rest of the 8 cards are not necessary. So this deck is going to run a lot of hand traps in the sideboard because, again, we don't want to use that space to, for traps that we can't play. 3 copies of Artifact Lancia for the evenly matched. Our opponent evenly matches us, we go Lancia. And we get to keep our board. This deck is highly susceptible to evenly match, so there's that. 3 copies of Troll and Lockbird, really good for locking the opponent out of their deck when they start searching a lot. 3 copies of Ghost Reaper, or Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit. And, of course, 3 copies of Evenly Matched. Now, there is a huge problem with this deck. Again, hand traps are very important for the sideboard, if not the main board. However you guys choose to modify this deck, if you choose to do so. And seeing that I think my side deck is probably worth as much, if not more, than my main deck, this is where the budget problems come in. Cards like Chaos Hunter aren't that bad. It's really good against Trickstar. Basically anything that you guys deem as a hand trap. Fuck, Effect Veiler is a okay card if you can't afford the cards you see here. Dark Hole Raigeki are pretty good substitutes for evenly matched, and basically that's how you're gonna have to roll if you are a budget player. Unfortunately, I don't have much else. It's really hard to work with that, but I can show you guys the combo I've been ranting and raving over. So basically it's a 3-card combo. It's freaking awesome. You're gonna need it can be a 2-card combo if you want to. It literally, him plus an equipped spell card is usually just make the Noble Arms, but him plus Gawain and an equipped spell card that can destroy itself and reattach, which is going to say Gallatin, can net you your Link monster and basically anything you want. What you're going to do is you're going to summon Madrot and then equip it with the Noble Arms Gallatin. Use Madrot's effect to special summon Boars, destroying Gallatin. Gallatin triggers, attach itself to Boars. Boars effect. Actually, you don't even need to use Boars effect right now. It doesn't matter. You're going to special summon Gawain and then use Madrot and Gawain. Those two are going to make your Noble Knight monster that I completely forget its name. I'm sorry. Use its effect to search any warrior monster from your deck to your hand. Depending on if I know what my opponent's playing, I'll probably add another Madrot. Sometimes I'll even add Brothers from my deck to my hand. Either of those are pretty good choices. I'm just going to go with Brothers this time around because Brothers does allow me to have a monster on the field and recycle cards, and it can attack after we're done with this combo. Next, we're going to use Boars' effect. And with Boars, we're always going to show Gwyn. And then we're going to show 2 other Noble Knight cards. 2 other Noble Knight equipped spells. So I'm going to show Gwyn. I'm also going to show Excalibur and Destiny. And now I'm going to randomly 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It doesn't matter which one gets added. The other one's going to be equipped. So I'm going to get Excalibur into my hand. And those are going to go to the graveyard. Huh. I done goofed. I'm going to tell you. Oh, no. I didn't goof. I apologize. Next, I'm going to use my Link Monsters effect. And with that Monsters effect, I'm going to send 4 Noble Knight equipped spell cards from my deck to the graveyard. And those 4 are going to be Caliburn, Arthur Excal, and Destiny. I'm going to send those 4. Now, depending on what you guys want to do, you can either summon Guava Chat, depending on if you didn't get Excalibur into your hand or if you want a different Noble Knight, or you can summon Predator or Peritor. If you want a Noble Knight monster to your hand, if you want a spell card to your hand. I'm going to go with Galvachat in this specific hand. I want another monster to my hand. I'm going to go ahead and fish that other card. And then I'm going to equip it with Excalibur. That's going to trigger the Guavachat. And he's going to add the Madrot. Next, since Guavachat's now a 5 and Boars is now a 5, we're just going to go ahead and use these to make... Wait, this does become 5. I hope it does. Okay, no, you can't get him. My apologies. Yeah, you have to get him, which means you have to get an equipped spell card. I just wouldn't equip it, to be honest with you guys. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I don't really see a need to equip it because it's the Excalibur that was added to my hand. If we added one that can be reattached, we're just going to go ahead and equip it anyways and then add the Destiny. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. So use the Boars and the Peritor to make Sacred. This goes to the graveyard. And now his effect activates. You want to select 3 equipped spell cards. One's going to be Excalibur. One's going to be Gallatin. The other one's going to be Destiny. You can save the Destiny. That's what I normally do because Caliburn isn't that important. But we're going to go ahead and equip the Caliburn to the Artigerus. Equip the Destiny to the Artigerus. This is literally just to show you how good he can get. And then equip the Gwyn to the Artigerus. This is the main reason why you don't run hand trap, or why you run hand traps and not any back row. You can literally equip all 5 of these cards to him, or you can even equip the Destiny to her as well. And you can equip, well, you can't use 2 Destinies, but you can equip the Destiny to her and you can equip everything to him. You can do really whatever you want, and it's going to provide a pretty good presence for your next turn. You can already see that I have enough Noble Arms cards to summon Noble Knight Brothers, special summon another monster, and shuffle cards from my deck to my side of the field. It's not a complicated combo, but there are so many other things you can do to extend or go other routes with the deck, and it's not even like doing anything extreme. Thank you guys so much for watching another segment of the Cali Effect. I hope you guys enjoyed this Noble Knight deck profile. If you guys want to see it in action, go ahead and give this video a like, as many likes as possible. Please like, comment, subscribe, but most of all, enjoy.